still don't understand why you have to go, Sarah whispered while holding my hand tightly. I looked at her and tried to smile. Because I want Aina to grow up without worrying about money. But 5 years, she said softly. I bent down and picked up my daughter. Aina, will you wait for Baba? She wrapped her tiny arms around my neck. Bring me toys. I laughed quietly. Many toys. Sarah looked at me again. You promise you'll come back? I promise, I said. 5 years will pass quickly. Behind us, my mother wiped her tears. Beta, Amma Zainab said, money is not everything. I know, Amma, I replied gently, but it will make life easier. My father placed his hand on my shoulder. You are doing what a man must do, Abdul Rahman said. Just remember your home is here. Bilal suddenly stepped closer. Don't worry about things here, he said. I'll take care of everyone. I nodded. That's why I trust you. Sarah squeezed my hand again. I'm scared, she said quietly. Why? I asked. What if life changes? She whispered. I looked straight into her eyes. Nothing will change between us. She forced a small smile. The airport announcement interrupted us. Passengers for flight 728. Please proceed to the boarding gate. Sarah looked down. It's time, she said. My chest felt heavy. I hugged my parents first. Take care of your health, Amma Zainab said. I will, I replied. Then my father hugged me. Work hard, he said. I always do. Bilal hugged me next. 5 years will pass quickly, he said. I hope so, I replied. Finally, I stood in front of Sarah. She didn't speak. She simply held my hand. Sarah, I said gently, look at me. Her eyes were full of tears. I'll wait, she whispered. Even if it takes longer. It won't, I said quickly. She pressed something into my hand. What's this? I asked. A small photo, she said. So you don't forget us. I looked at it. It was a picture of the three of us. Forget you, I said softly. That's impossible. She leaned forward and hugged me tightly. Come back safely, she whispered. I will. Then Aina shouted, Baba, don't go. My heart almost broke. I kissed her forehead. I'm doing this for you. I walked toward the gate without looking back. If I turned around, I knew I wouldn't leave. The desert heat hit my face the moment I stepped out of the airport in a foreign country. First time here, a man beside me asked. Yes, I said. Get used to the heat, he laughed. At the workers' dormitory, I met my supervisor. You must be the new worker, he said firmly. I'm Mr. Khalid. Yes, sir. He looked at me carefully. Can you handle hard work? I didn't come here for vacation, I replied. He nodded slightly. Good answer. Later that night, I sat on a thin bed inside a crowded room. Another worker smiled at me. My name is Imran, he said. I'm glad to meet you, I replied. Missing home already? He asked. A little, I admitted. He laughed quietly. Everyone does. I took out Sarah's photo. Imran looked at it. Your family? Yes. Beautiful, he said. I'm working for them, I replied. The next morning, work started before sunrise. Mr. Khalid shouted across the site. Move faster. The sun burned above us. Sweat ran down my face. Imran whispered, This place tests your patience. I can handle it, I said. Hours later, my arms felt like stone. But I kept thinking about my family. At night, I finally called Sarah. She answered quickly. Hello. It's me, I said. I've been waiting all day, she replied. How is Aina? Right here, Sarah said. Then I heard my daughter's tiny voice. Baba. I smiled instantly. What did you do today? I asked. I drew a house, she said proudly. Is Baba in the picture? Yes. Sarah laughed softly. She asks about you every day. I'll come back soon, I said. Don't rush, Sarah replied. Just stay safe. I miss you, I admitted. We miss you too. The call ended too quickly. Imran looked at me. Feeling better? Yes, I said quietly. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Every night, the same routine. Hello, Sarah would say. How was your day? I would ask. Busy, she'd reply. Then Aina would shout, Baba. Those calls became the only thing that kept me going. One night, Sarah asked softly, Are you tired? Yes, I admitted. Then come back early, she said. I can't yet. Why? Because I promised to change our lives. She stayed silent for a moment. Then she said quietly, Just promise me something. What? Don't forget why you started. I looked at the photo again. I never will, I said. That night, I lay on my bed staring at the ceiling. The room was noisy, but my thoughts were louder. 5 years felt far away. Still, I whispered to myself, every drop of sweat is for them. And that belief became the only light in my lonely life. Wake up, Imran said, shaking my shoulder. If we're late again, Mr. Khalid will shout all day. I opened my eyes slowly. I feel like I just slept. You slept 3 hours, he replied. That's normal here. I sat up and rubbed my face. 5 years will pass quickly, right? Imran laughed. Only if you stop counting the days. We walked outside before sunrise. The desert air already felt warm. Imran stretched his arms. Another beautiful day of suffering. Don't say that, I replied. Every day here has a purpose. And that purpose is money, he said. Yes, I answered. Money for my family. At the construction site, Mr. Khalid's voice echoed across the ground. Move faster. I'm moving, I muttered quietly. Imran leaned closer. He hears everything. I hope not. The sun climbed higher, and the heat became unbearable. Imran wiped sweat from his forehead. Why do we do this to ourselves? I lifted a heavy block and said, because people we love are waiting. He nodded slowly. You're stronger than me. No, I said. I'm just more stubborn. That evening we returned to our small room. Imran dropped on his bed. Call your family. I will. I picked up my phone and dialed. Sarah answered after 2 rings. Hello. It's me, I said. Her voice instantly softened. I was waiting. How was your day? Busy, she replied. Aina started school today. My heart jumped. Really? Yes. Put her on the phone. A moment later, I heard a small voice. Baba. I smiled without realizing it. How was school? Big, she said proudly. Did you make friends? Yes. Did you tell them about me? Yes, she giggled. Sarah took the phone back. She kept asking when you're coming home, she said. Soon, I replied. Just a little longer. You always say that. I'm trying my best. I know, she said softly. We're proud of you. Her words made the long day feel lighter. After the call ended, Imran looked at me. Feeling better? Yes. You talk to them every night. They're the reason I'm here. Months passed like that. One night my phone rang earlier than usual. Sarah. Yes. You called first, I said. I have news. What happened? Aina won a drawing competition. That's amazing. She drew our family. Did she draw me too? Of course. Even though I'm far away. She said you're still part of the house. I felt my chest tighten. I miss her. She misses you more, Sarah replied. Another year passed. One evening Imran asked, how much have you saved? Almost enough, I said. For what? A better house. He smiled. You're a good man. I laughed quietly. Just a tired one. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Bilal. Bye, he said quickly. I need help. What happened? Their family expenses. How much? He told me the amount. That's a lot, I said. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. I sighed. I'll send it. You're the best brother, he said. Take care of Alma and Abba. I will. After the call, Imran raised an eyebrow. More money. Yes. You trust him? He's my brother. Imran shrugged. Family is complicated. I ignored the comment. Months turned into years. Work became routine. One afternoon, Mr. Khalid called me into his office. Sit down, he said. I stayed standing. Is there a problem? No problem, he replied. You're one of my best workers. Thank you. I want to offer you another contract. For how long? 3 more years. I shook my head immediately. Why, he asked. I promised my family 5 years. This job pays well. I know. Think carefully. I already have. He studied my face. You really want to go home? Yes. He nodded slowly. I respect loyalty. Thank you. That night Imran asked, what did he want? He offered another contract. And I refused. Imran sat up quickly. You're serious? Yes. You're leaving? In a few weeks. He laughed loudly. You're free. I hope so. Your wife will be happy. I want to surprise them. Don't tell them. No. That's risky, he said. Why? What if they're not home? They will be. Still risky. I smiled. Some surprises are worth it. Imran shook his head. You're dreaming too much. Maybe, I admitted. Later that night, I called Sarah. Hello. It's me. You sound happy, she said. I'm just tired. Take care of yourself. I will. Aina asked about you again today. What did you tell her? I said Baba is working hard for us. That's true. Sometimes she thinks you're a hero. I laughed softly. I'm just a worker. To us, you're more than that. Her words warmed my heart. After the call, I stared at the ceiling. Imran noticed my smile. What are you thinking about? Home. You'll see them soon. Yes. I imagined opening the door. Sarah smiling. Aina running toward me. Bilal welcoming me back. Everything will be perfect, I whispered. Imran rolled over. What did you say? Nothing. But deep inside, I believed it. I believed all my sacrifices had built something beautiful waiting for me at home. I had no idea that the life I was returning to had already changed in ways I could never imagine. My heart pounded as I stood outside my house with 2 heavy bags in my hands. I'm finally home, I whispered to myself. I knocked on the door. Footsteps approached. The door opened. Sarah stood in front of me. For a moment, I smiled widely. Sarah, I said softly, but she didn't smile back. She stared at me like I was a stranger. Her eyebrows tightened. Yes, she asked cautiously. I laughed nervously. Sarah, it's me. She stepped back slightly. I'm sorry, she said. Do I know you? My smile froze. What? I said quietly. She looked confused. Who are you? She asked. My chest tightened. Sarah, stop joking, I said. I'm not joking, she replied. Just then a small voice spoke behind her. Amy, who is he? I looked down. Aina, I whispered. She hid behind Sarah's leg. Why is he looking at me like that? She asked. My hands began to shake. It's Baba, I said gently. Aina looked confused. My Baba works far away, she said. That's me, I replied. Before I could say anything else, Bilal suddenly appeared. Bye, he said in shock. Bilal, I said quickly. What's going on? He walked toward me slowly. When did you arrive? He asked. Just now, I replied. Why is Sarah acting like this? Bilal took a deep breath. Bye, you should come inside. I'm not moving until someone explains. Sarah looked at Bilal nervously. Do you know him? She whispered. Bilal looked at the floor. Yes, he said quietly. Who is he? She asked. He hesitated. Then he said something that shattered my world. He's your husband. Sarah's eyes widened. My husband? She repeated. Yes. She looked at me again, but her expression was still confused. That can't be right, she said. I felt dizzy. What do you mean it can't be right? I asked. She shook her head. I would remember my husband. Bilal placed his hand on my shoulder. Bye, please calm down. Calm down, I said. Explain this. He sighed heavily. 2 years ago, Sarah had an accident. What accident? A car accident. I stared at him, and she lost part of her memory. My voice cracked. What are you saying? She doesn't remember the past, he said quietly. I looked back at Sarah. You don't remember me? I asked. She shook her head slowly. I'm sorry, she said. I stepped closer. Sarah, look carefully. She looked uncomfortable. I am looking. I'm your husband. I'm sorry, she whispered again. My throat tightened. Aina, I said softly. Come here. She shook her head. No. What? You're scaring me, she said. Those words hit me like a knife. Bilal stepped between us. Bye, give them time. Time, I repeated. Yes. How long has this been happening? 2 years, he replied. 2 years. Yes. I sat down on the sofa slowly. This can't be real. Sarah stood near the door. Bilal, what is happening? She asked him. He spoke gently. I told you about him. You said my husband works abroad. That's him. She stared at me again. But I don't remember him. My hands trembled. Sarah, listen to me, I said. She looked uncertain. We were married 8 years ago. She stayed silent. We used to drink tea every night on the balcony. She blinked slowly. You loved jasmine flowers. Her expression didn't change. You cried when Aina was born. Still nothing. My voice became weaker. You held my hand at the airport and promised to wait. Sarah looked down. I'm sorry, she said again. Bilal sighed. The doctors said memories might return slowly. I looked at him sharply. Doctors? Yes. Why didn't anyone tell me? We didn't want to worry you. My chest burned with pain. I worked 5 years for this family. I know, Bilal said. Every day, I dreamed about coming home. He didn't answer. I looked at Sarah again. Do you remember anything about me? She thought for a moment. Then she shook her head. No. I forced a weak smile. That's okay. Bilal looked surprised. It will come back someday, I added. Sarah seemed relieved. Thank you for understanding. I nodded slowly. Inside, my heart was breaking. Aina peeked from behind Sarah again. Amy, is he staying here? She asked. Sarah looked at Bilal. Bilal answered quickly. Yes. Aina looked uncertain. He still looks scary. I tried to laugh. I brought gifts, I said. Her eyes lit up slightly. For me? She asked. Yes. I opened my bag and showed her a toy. She slowly stepped forward. Really? Yes. She took the toy carefully. Thank you, she said quietly. Sarah watched the moment silently. Bilal spoke again. Bye. Things have changed here. I can see that. But we'll fix it together. I looked around my own house. The walls felt unfamiliar. Even the air felt different. Sarah spoke gently. I hope you understand. I'm trying to, I replied. Bilal said quietly, You've been gone a long time. Yes, I said. 5 years of sacrifice. 5 years of hope. And now I stood inside my own home, feeling like a guest. I looked at Sarah one more time. She looked at me politely, the way someone looks at a stranger. In that moment, I realized something painful. The woman I had worked 5 years for no longer recognized me. And the home I dreamed about every night no longer felt like mine. I had finally returned. But somehow, I was the only one who didn't belong anymore. The house felt quiet during the next few days. Too quiet. Every conversation felt careful. Every look felt strange. One afternoon, I placed an old photo on the table. Sarah, I said gently, look at this. She walked closer. What is it? She asked. A memory. She picked up the photo. I watched her face carefully. That's me, she said slowly. Yes. And that little girl is Aina. Yes. She pointed at the man standing beside her. And this man, that's me, I replied. She studied the photo again. I don't remember this day. It was our 3rd anniversary, I said. She looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry. It's okay, I said softly. Just then Bilal entered the room. What are you two doing? He asked. Looking at old photos, I replied. He walked closer and quickly took the photo from Sarah's hand. That won't help, he said. Why not? I asked. The doctor said forcing memories is dangerous. Sarah nodded slightly. Yes, maybe he's right. I felt frustration rising. Sarah, memories don't disappear like that. Bilal interrupted quickly. Bye, please. Please what? Stop pushing her. I looked at him carefully. I'm not pushing. Sarah spoke quietly. Maybe I just need time. How much time? I asked. She didn't answer. Bilal changed the topic. Aina needs help with homework, he said. I'll help her, Sarah replied quickly. They walked away together. I stayed alone in the room. Later, that evening, Nadia visited the house. She smiled politely when she saw me. You must be the famous husband, she said. I guess so, I replied. She laughed awkwardly. How are you adjusting? I'm trying. Sarah called from the kitchen. Nadia, come help me. Coming, Nadia replied. They disappeared down the hallway. Bilal sat beside me. You should relax, he said. I am relaxed. Then stop overthinking. I looked at him directly. Something feels wrong. He forced a small smile. You just came back. Maybe. Night came slowly. The house became quiet again. I walked toward the kitchen for water. Then I heard voices in the living room. Sarah and Nadia were talking softly. I stopped near the door. Nadia spoke first. How long will you keep doing this? My heart skipped. Sarah sighed. I don't know. You can't pretend forever. Pretend? I stayed still. Sarah lowered her voice. I had no choice. Yes, you did, Nadia replied. What choice? You could tell him the truth. My chest tightened. What truth? Sarah whispered. That you never lost your memory. My breath stopped. Sarah sounded nervous. Don't say that so loudly. So it's true, Nadia said. You already know it's true. I felt my hands begin to shake. Nadia continued. This lie has gone too far. What was I supposed to do? Sarah said. Tell your husband the truth. And destroy everything? Nadia sounded angry. You already destroyed it. Sarah stayed silent. Then she spoke again. You don't understand. Then explain. I was lonely, Sarah whispered. My stomach twisted. Lonely? Nadia repeated. Yes. And Bilal was here. My head started spinning. Nadia sounded shocked. You're serious? Sarah didn't answer for a moment. Then she said quietly, it just happened. How long? 2 years. 2 years. I pressed my hand against the wall. Nadia spoke again. So the accident story is fake? Yes. And the memory loss? A lie. Why? Sarah's voice trembled. Because if he knew the truth, he would hate me. Nadia sounded frustrated. You think this is better? I didn't know what else to do. And Bilal? He agreed. My chest felt like it was collapsing. Nadia asked carefully, do you love Bilal? Silence filled the room. Finally, Sarah whispered, I don't know. Nadia sighed loudly. This is a disaster. I know. What will happen when he finds out? He won't, Sarah replied quickly. He's not stupid. He trusts us. Those words cut deep. Nadia spoke again. You're playing with fire. Sarah's voice became shaky. I already know that. And what about Aina? She believes Bilal has always been here. Nadia sounded tired. You need to end this. I can't. Why? Because I'm afraid. Afraid of what? Losing everything. I slowly stepped away from the door. My legs felt weak. Every word echoed inside my head. No accident. No memory loss. Just lies. I walked quietly to my room. My hands were still shaking. A few minutes later, Bilal entered. You're still awake? He asked. Yes. You should sleep. I looked at him carefully. Bilal. Yes. Do you think people can live with lies forever? He froze for a moment. What do you mean? Just a question. He forced a small laugh. Everyone hides something. Maybe, I said quietly. He nodded and left the room. The house became silent again. I sat on the edge of the bed. My mind replayed every word I had heard. Lonely. 2 years. A lie. I whispered to myself. 5 years of sacrifice. My chest burned with anger. But deeper than anger was something worse. Emptiness. The two people I trusted most had betrayed me, and they believed I would never discover the truth. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I simply stared into the darkness, listening to the silence of a house that no longer felt like home. The morning after I heard the truth, I sat at the table drinking tea. Bilal walked in and looked at me. You're awake early, he said. I couldn't sleep, I replied. Jet lag. Something like that. He opened the fridge. Things will get easier here, he said. I hope so. Sarah entered the room a moment later. Good morning, she said quietly. Good morning, I replied. She looked nervous. Did you sleep well? Not really. Bilal spoke quickly. You need time to adjust. I nodded slowly. Yes, time helps. Aina ran into the room, holding her toy. Look what Baba gave me, she shouted. Sarah smiled gently. That was nice of him. I watched them silently. Inside, I heard Sarah's word from last night again. It just happened. 2 years. A lie. But my face stayed calm. Later that afternoon, I stepped outside. The street looked the same as before. Only I had changed. A familiar voice called my name. Is that you? I turned and saw Uncle Rashid. Uncle Rashid, I said. He walked closer and hugged me. When did you return? A few days ago. Why didn't you visit? I've been busy. He looked at my face carefully. You look tired. Work abroad does that. He nodded slowly. Come sit with me. We sat on a bench outside his house. He poured tea. So, he said, how is everything at home? I stayed quiet for a moment. Strange. Strange how? You probably heard about Sarah's accident. He frowned. Yes. What did you hear? That she lost her memory. I looked at him carefully. Do you believe that? He hesitated. Why are you asking? Just curious. Uncle Rashid leaned closer. Tell me the truth. I sighed. I heard something last night. What kind of something? The truth. His eyes narrowed. So you know. You knew too. He looked uncomfortable. I suspected. Why didn't you tell me? I wasn't sure, he said quietly. About what? About how deep things had gone. I clenched my hands. How deep? He looked around the street before speaking again. Bilal has changed. In what way? He spends money like water. That money is mine, I said quietly. I know. How much? A lot. My chest tightened. I worked 5 years. Uncle Rashid nodded sadly. And they spent it quickly. Both of them. Yes. I looked at the ground. Did anyone else notice? Many people, he replied. Then why is no one saying anything? Because family matters are complicated. I laughed bitterly. That's a polite way to say betrayal. He didn't disagree. A few minutes later, he spoke again. There's something else. What? Bilal owes money. To who? Several people. How much? Enough to cause trouble. Just then a loud knock echoed from my house. Uncle Rashid looked toward the street. Speak of the devil. 2 men stood at my door. One shouted loudly, Bilal, come out. I stood up slowly. Creditors? I asked. Yes, Uncle Rashid said quietly. I walked closer, but stayed outside the gate. Bilal opened the door nervously. What do you want? He asked. One man stepped forward. Your payment is late. I told you I need more time. You said that last month. Sarah appeared behind him. What's happening? She asked. The second man pointed at Bilal. Your brother owes us money. Sarah looked shocked. How much? Bilal spoke quickly. It's not a big deal. The man laughed. Not a big deal? Sarah looked confused. Bilal, I'll handle it, he said. When? The creditor demanded. Soon. Tomorrow. That's impossible. Then we come back with more people. The men walked away. Sarah turned toward Bilal. What did you do? It's nothing. It didn't sound like nothing. I stepped forward. Everything okay? Bilal looked startled. Yes, bye. Sarah looked embarrassed. Just a misunderstanding. I see, I said calmly. Inside, I felt something strange. Not anger. Not sadness. Something colder. Later that evening, I visited Uncle Rashid again. So, what begins, he said. What begins? The cracks. I nodded slowly. I thought revenge would feel different. You're not doing anything. Exactly. He smiled slightly. Sometimes patience is the strongest weapon. I'm starting to understand that. What will you do now? He asked. For now, nothing. And later, I'll rebuild my life. He studied my face. You're calmer than I expected. I already lost everything once, I said quietly. What do you mean? My trust. Uncle Rashid nodded. That is the hardest thing to lose. I looked toward my house. Sarah and Bilal were arguing inside. Their voices reached the street. The perfect life they built with my sacrifices was beginning to crack. I didn't need revenge. Karma was already working. And for the first time since I returned home, I felt something unexpected. Peace. The house felt crowded that evening. My parents sat on the sofa. Uncle Rashid stood near the window. A few relatives whispered quietly. Bilal looked nervous. Sarah avoided my eyes. My father spoke first. Why did you call everyone here? He asked. I need to clear something, I replied. My mother looked worried. What kind of thing? A truth. Bilal forced a laugh. What truth? I looked directly at him. You know which one. His smile faded. Bye, don't start drama. I'm not starting anything. Sarah spoke softly. Maybe we should talk privately. No, I said calmly. Everyone should hear this. Uncle Rashid nodded slowly. Let him speak. My father leaned forward. Go ahead. I placed a small envelope on the table. What is that? Bilal asked. Bank records. His face tightened. What about them? They show where my money went. Sarah looked confused. What money? The money I sent home for 5 years. Bilal interrupted quickly. That was for family expenses. Yes, I replied. Family expenses. I opened the envelope. These records show large withdrawals. Bilal shrugged. Things cost money. True, I said. I pulled out another paper. This one shows loans. My father frowned. Loans? Bilal raised his voice. I had to borrow sometimes. From 5 different people? I asked. He didn't answer. Sarah looked at him. Bilal. It's nothing, he said. I turned towards Sarah. You really don't remember anything, right? She looked uncomfortable. Why are you asking again? Because I'm curious. Bilal spoke sharply. Stop questioning her. My mother looked at Sarah carefully. Beta, answer honestly. Sarah swallowed nervously. I told you before. Tell us again, my mother said. Sarah stayed silent. The room felt heavy. My father spoke slowly. Did you lose your memory? Sarah opened her mouth. No words came out. Bilal slammed his hand on the table. This is ridiculous. I looked at him calmly. What are you afraid of? Nothing. Then relax. He stood up angrily. You're trying to humiliate us. I'm just telling the truth. Sarah's hands began shaking. Please stop, she whispered. My mother looked at her gently. Beta, look at me. Sarah slowly raised her head. Do you really not remember your husband? Tears appeared in her eyes. She stayed silent. My father spoke again. This silence is an answer. Bilal shouted. She's under pressure. Uncle Rashid stepped forward. No one forced her. Bilal pointed at him. Stay out of this. I can't. Uncle Rashid replied calmly. Sarah suddenly started crying. I didn't want this, she said. The room froze. My mother whispered, what do you mean? Sarah covered her face. I'm sorry. Bilal looked furious. Don't say anything. But Sarah continued. I lied. My father leaned back slowly. So there was no memory loss. Sarah shook her head. No. My mother gasped. What? Sarah's voice trembled. I was lonely. Bilal shouted, stop. But Sarah kept speaking. He was gone for years. I listened quietly. And, my father asked. And Bilal was here. My mother's eyes widened. You mean? Sarah nodded weakly. Yes. The room exploded with whispers. Bilal turned red with anger. This is not my fault. My father looked at him sharply. Whose fault is it? Bilal pointed at me. Is. Everyone looked shocked. He left us. Bilal shouted. I left to support this family. I replied calmly. You abandoned us. That's not true. Sarah cried harder. I should have told the truth. My mother spoke through tears. You betrayed your husband. Sarah whispered. I know. My father turned to Bilal. And you betrayed your brother. Bilal looked away. It wasn't planned. But you continued it, my father said. Silence filled the room. I finally spoke again. For 2 years. No one argued. Uncle Rashid sighed deeply. I warned you both. Bilal shouted again. You're all blaming me. Because you're guilty, my father replied coldly. Sarah wiped her tears. I'm sorry, she whispered to me. I looked at her quietly. What? She looked confused. Why what? Why lie instead of telling the truth? I was afraid. Of what? Losing everything. I nodded slowly. You already did. Bilal slammed a chair. This conversation is over. My father stood up. No. Bilal froze. This family deserves honesty. The room stayed silent for a long moment. I realized something strange. My chest felt lighter. The anger I carried for days slowly disappeared. Uncle Rashid looked at me. How do you feel? I thought for a moment. Relieved. Bilal laughed bitterly. You think you won? I shook my head. This isn't about winning. Sarah looked at me with tears. Then what is it about? Truth. My father nodded slowly. Truth always finds a way. I looked around the room. Everyone knew now. The lies were gone. The masks had fallen. And for the first time since I returned home, the silence felt honest instead of painful. The house felt different after the truth came out. No one spoke much the next morning. I sat at the table drinking tea when Sarah walked in slowly. We need to talk, she said quietly. I know, I replied. She sat across from me. Her eyes were red from crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't answer immediately. I made a terrible mistake, she continued. Yes, I said calmly. I was lonely. I heard that already. She looked down. I thought you forgot about us. I called every night. I know. Then why? She struggled to find words. I was weak. I nodded slowly. That's honest at least. She leaned forward. Can we fix this? I looked at her carefully. Do you really believe that? She hesitated. I want to try. I shook my head gently. Love can survive many things. Her voice trembled. But not this. Not without trust. Tears rolled down her face again. I ruined everything. Yes, I said quietly. Aina entered the room at that moment. Emmy, why are you crying? She asked. Sarah quickly wiped her eyes. It's nothing. Aina looked at me. Are you leaving again? I knelt beside her. No. Promise. I promise. Sarah watched silently. Aina hugged me. I like when you're here. I like being here too. She smiled. Can we go to the park later? Yes, I said. She ran out happily. Sarah spoke again. She loves you. I love her too. Then stay. I will stay for her. Her eyes filled with hope. Really, but not like before. Her hope faded. You mean? I'm leaving this marriage. She closed her eyes. I deserve that. A moment later she asked quietly, what about Aina? We will both raise her. You trust me with her? Yes, I replied. After everything, she deserves both parents. Sarah nodded slowly. You're kinder than I expected. This isn't kindness. What is it? Responsibility. She whispered. I wish I could go back in time. So do I. Later that day, I packed a small bag. Sarah stood in the doorway, watching me. "Where will you go?" she asked. "I'll stay with my parents for now." She looked around the room. "This house feels empty already." It was empty long before today. She didn't argue. Just then my father walked inside. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Yes." Sarah spoke softly. "Take care of him." My father looked at her calmly. "He will take care of himself." I picked up my bag. Before leaving, I looked at Sarah one last time. "Goodbye." She whispered goodbye. Outside, the air felt lighter. My father walked beside me. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. "Yes." "It won't be easy." "I know, but it might be right." I nodded. "That's enough for me." Weeks passed quietly. I spent most of my time with Aina. One afternoon she asked me, "Why don't you live with Amy anymore?" I sat beside her. "Sometimes adults make mistakes." "Big mistakes?" "Yes." "Did Amy make one?" "Yes." She thought for a moment. "Do you still love her?" I answered honestly. "I love the memories. But not her." Things changed. Aina nodded slowly. "I'm glad you stayed." "I'm glad too." Months later, life started to feel normal again. One evening, Uncle Rashid visited. "You look stronger," he said. "I feel stronger." "What helped?" "Time." "And your decision?" "Yes." He smiled. "Many people would choose revenge." I thought about it. "What stopped you?" I looked toward the sunset. I realized something. "What?" "The best revenge is peace." He laughed softly. "That's wisdom. Pain teaches quickly." Later that night, I walked outside alone. The sky looked calm. I thought about the 5 years I spent working abroad. All the heat, all the loneliness. For a long time, I believed those sacrifices were wasted. Now I understood something different. They built the man I had become. A man who could walk away without hatred. A man who could start again. When I returned home that night, Aina ran toward me. "Baba." "Yes." "Did you miss me?" "Always." She laughed and hugged me. In that moment, I realized something important. I had lost a marriage, but I had not lost my future. And sometimes the strongest revenge in life is simply moving forward with dignity.